Passing, kicking, shooting, dribbling, tackling, heading, and ball control. You play the game as best you can. You pass the ball or dribble past your man. The goal you score, it wins the game. Big money, wages, and all that fame. Soccer superstar, we know who you are. Yeah. Oh, soccer superstar, you've come so far. Hey, soccer superstar.
Well, she sneaks around the world from Kiev to Carolina. She's a sticky-fingered filcher from Berlin down to Belize. She'll take you for a ride on a slow boat to China. Tell me, where in the world is
John Parr?
Well, tonight, it may look like I'm dialing in just my normal room, but in front of me, I see all these enormous pipes and levers and machine works. I'm inside the Lazy Poets game generator, where we're going to be doing some game generation tonight. How you doing, guys?
I'm okay. Thanks for asking.
Good. Well, I'm well.
Had to bandage a chicken's foot before. That was a challenge. It was squawking.
How's the chicken?
I think it's okay, right? So we got the chicken, and after like 2 days, we realised it looked like it was missing a toe. Not a full toe, just the end of it. It looked like it scabbed up, so I left it and thinking it'd be fine. And then it started like bleeding a little bit today, and if chickens see something that's red, they go ape shit and just start pecking at it crazily. So you have to like cover it up and do it. So I cleaned it all off. I put like a bandage on it. I think she just lost a nail, like a claw, because there is a claw like growing through it. So in future weeks we'll be having in-depth, up-to-date updates on my chicken's feet, which is the end of part 1.
Why do they peck at red things?
I don't know. It seems silly because as soon as one of them gets any sort of minor injury, the others just peck them to death. Usually, it doesn't seem particularly well evolved. Like,
I don't want to jump the gun here, guys, but I think if you have a behavior like that, if you see red, then peck, it sounds an awful lot like a game mechanic to me. Just imagine a whole series of behaviors for chickens dictated purely by color.
Yeah, like bulls do the same, don't they? But they just run at stuff. So maybe there's something about the color red in animal behavior.
What do you do when you see red?
Struggle to think up something funny to reply.
It does make me angry. The color red. It does make me angry. I will say that.
Yeah.
Not to the extent of a bull, but
or a chicken pecking yourself to death.
I've never pecked anybody to death.
Can you peck if you've not got a beak, or is it pure beak specific? A peck. You can give a peck on a cheek, can't you?
Give somebody a peck. Yeah, but I don't know. If
you probably couldn't peck them to death.
No, peck on the cheek to death. Well, that sounds
quite frail.
like an erotic game mechanic to me.
But speaking of games, what games have you guys been playing in the last week? Peter, you first.
So,
is that your segue bell?
I'm for Peter's talk.
So when you asked me this before the stream, I couldn't remember, but I have been playing 2 games this week. The first is a game called Grindstone, which is on the Switch. Very, very good. It's a 7x7 grid full of coloured enemies and you basically make lines of colours through them, and your little man goes around killing them all in lines. So that's good. If you get 10 in a row, a crystal generator, which means you can change colour. So if you kill a line of like 8 of 10 green ones, then you hit the crystal, then you can do yellow ones, and so on and so on. So it's very, very satisfying. It's as if it's like a game like Candy Crush, but if it was made by like a good developer that wasn't just paying for your cash. And the second game is your friend of mine. It is Fortnite, which
yes, of course.
we played together once a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh, this is very remarkably fun. And then I've been playing it quite a lot since then.
And I think you had quite a good game 2 days ago.
Yeah,
You got 12 kills.
thanks for bringing that up, John. Yeah, I mean, me and you were playing, and we had, I think, 10 minutes to leave so you could go get your train. So we were like, oh, we'll just play a quick game. We'll run into the battle and just die pretty soon. And then the kills just kept racking up, and we ended up with like a dozen. And then tried to summon people with shooting shotguns into the air, like, come and get us. But they just kept coming and then keep dying. So that's
It was quite it would have been a good movie scene, like somebody just desperate to have themselves killed, running around. And,
sounds a
just
lot like a
killing
good
other
game
people.
mechanic, like some sort of game where you've got to die first.
Let's maybe save that one and put it in our memory.
Like a
box, for the
suicidal
machine at the moment.
superhero like Superman, and there's no kryptonite around, and you've got to try and like off yourself first. It's quite dark game, but you know, that's what the people like.
Suicide Dress is my preferred way to play the game. So
Your audio is a little bit.
fans-
Your audio keeps cutting out, so I just heard the word suicide vest, and then
Suicide Chess.
okay.
I meant to say that it's my preferred form of chess. I am endorsing suicide, but the Suicide Chess is great. It's
Is that where you've
quicker,
got to
it
try and
doesn't
lose?
require as much effort. Yeah, you've got to try and lose. If you can take, you have to take.
Ah.
It's very quick. You've got to watch out for the bishops. They gobble up everything more than you'd expect.
Hmm.
But we'll save that for another time. Cookie, what have you been playing this week?
Your audio's still a little bit jittery, John. I don't know if you can maybe
it's in and out.
up your microphone. You sound like you're warbling, sort of like this sort of this type thing.
Whoa. Well, everybody knows that I'm at the cutting edge of new games. So I've been playing Age of Empires 2, the definitive edition, because it's on sale for like 15 quid. And you get all the expansions, which I've never actually had. So I've been loading that up and enjoying the history again.
Is it good? I've never played it. I think I've been meaning
Age
to
of
play
Empires
it for
2
ages. Yeah,
was it number 3 on my top 100?
it was quite high. Yeah. So,
Number 4,
but I
number
mean,
3,
Skyward Sword was also quite high in your top 100, and now you've decided you don't
No,
like
I think
that.
it was like
so-
60th, and then when we were
Okay.
talking about it, I decided I hated it. Whereas Age of Empires, when we talk about it, I decided I should play it again. So that's what I am doing currently. I've started Stardew Valley, which I think I'm going to enjoy
yeah, you
as a
will.
replacement to Animal Crossing, and I'm still on with Hyrule Warriors, which it has longevity. I will say it for that game. It's a good game. Good game. It
In a
has,
good way, or you say that your little disclaimer, I'll say that much for it, makes it sound like
yeah, it does.
it's insufferable.
I have a habit of doing that in work situations as well, where I'm trying to give. I end up damning with faint praise.
It makes you sound really
my
mysterious, like you're hinting at something, but nobody's quite sure what.
No, it's a good game. I would say it's not top tier. It's like higher middle. It's a 2-1.
Okay, yeah, that's sort of what I expected it to be. Yeah, so John's left, so it's up to us
It's
to.
long. All we can play Where in the World is John Power.
Yeah, I'll play it again when he gets back. Just to sort of everyone loves the bits.
Yeah, so
I mean, it would have been good had he left while we had the chat thing to talk about. But so I'll briefly explain what this game generator is, I suppose. So, I'll hide this bit. So in previous weeks, as I'm sure you're all aware, we have designed board games using an improv engine that we have trademarked. It comes up with themes, game elements, and all sorts of stuff that we then put together into a successful board game for our board game improv Patreon, which is coming at some point. So we had a game called Pooper Trooper and we had a game called Moloch. This time, however, we are going digital and we have created a video game generator. So we're hopefully going to get some hints and we'll make a video game from scratch. Some people have said it's similar to the podcast, the defunct podcast Cool Games Inc., but it is defunct. So the area is wide open for us to put down our flags and send in our historical troops like in Age of Empires 2.
That's true.
Can I do an audio check, guys? Sorry to interrupt. Just testing, 1, 2, 3.
Yep, go on.
The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Can you hear me? Any warbling before I
No,
continue?
that sounds borderline perfect. There's a better one, isn't there?
Great.
There's the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog, and isn't there like one like the crooked sphinx raised up the zenith of Herox or something like that?
I mean, that sounds more pretentious.
There's a much
I mean,
cooler one though. Like, so if I go, John, I've introduced the thing briefly, but do you want to say anything specific about your
Thank you.
generator?
Well, I might just let the showing do the telling and bring it up on screen. I will just briefly, the whole reason why I was asking you guys about games because I wanted to just mention that I've reached Ascension level 20 in Slay the Spire. I've not completed it, but I'm finally at the final tier. Then I will.
Then what? Then you're going to start.
Finally
Then you're going to
diversify.
start Factorio.
Hopefully,
Oh, here we-
Factorio or other games.
Are you at 300 hours on Slay the Spire yet? You're not far
I'm
off.
sure. I must be. I mean, I dread to think. I think I was at 200 last time I checked. That was a long time ago.
That's
so,
impressive. I think I have a lot. I have about that much on Dead by Daylight. I think from ages ago, but I think that's my only game I've crossed 300 hours on. Oh, yeah, the thing's gone mental. Hang on. Oh, here we go. So I think you might have
Can
to.
you see
Yes, we can see it.
my screen?
We can see it, and everyone else
Yep. Yeah.
can see
And
it.
do you see the entirety of the generator,
Yep.
including the button? Great.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I'll take a few minutes to introduce it. So here we have the Lazy Pose game generator. We have here various things which we can choose to call upon. We don't have to use each of the prompts that are going to come up. So here we've got 2 mechanics in a loose sense and a theme, and a wild card as well. We have a button that I'll press to randomize those, and we have a little snippet here from a certain game which was in my top 100 list. Now, can either of you remember the name of this game?
No.
What? Oh, it is Jumpman, Jumper. I don't know.
You were correct with your second guess. It is Jumpman,
Ah.
which was a fantastic game I played on the PC back in the 90s. And I believe Mario was once called Jumpman. I'm not quite sure of the relationship between them, but I love the pixelated graphics and thought it was kind of fitting for XL.
Could you, John? Can you bring
So,
up the whiteboard
when
on
we're
your?
ready-
Can you bring up the
Yes.
whiteboard on your screen and screen share that? Because I think the audio problem might be on my end. If I can, would you be able to do that?
I'm
or not?
actually using Nero on my
okay,
my iPad
right.
device, so I will be able to draw.
We'll try this. I'll try shutting some stuff down in a minute. So keep going. I'll.
What I suggest we do is that we maybe roll the dice, as it were, a few times and see what the generator gives us. Any more than that, and we'll just end up kind of browsing the aisles of fate for many hours. But I suggest we stick to a maximum of 3. We can pick our favorite and expand on that. I'll take screenshots of the different versions using a snipping tool. Yeah, when you're ready, we will hit the generate button. Any questions before we dive in from Cookie or Peter?
So I don't think so. I think let's go. I've got questions as to what's going on Cookie's screen. There's ghosts and all sorts. Spooky.
Sorry, I'm here.
That came out a lot more like
I've
passive aggressive than I meant it. I didn't mean like.
no.
I'm interested in what the fuck Cookie's doing when he's supposed to
And
be
I sounded
working.
more evasive than I meant to. I'm not doing anything. I'm here. I have no questions
No, I also have no
Okay,
questions.
cool.
Like
At
an
this point.
awkward seminar.
or a bad
Okay,
interview.
Or about
I feel
yeah.
like this should maybe have more flashing lights and glitter and spinning wheels, but it doesn't. I'm just going to hit generate, and then very quickly we will see the words. So, ooh. Okay, there we go. I pressed it. That's what you've got, folks. We've got
A trivia
Mechanic
game.
1 trivia game with a tactical RPG element in the theme of universe. So tiny theme there, really narrow. And the wild card idea is that rebirth. So, initial thoughts, Peter Kizik.
Trivia is the hard bit to get into it. I guess a game where you create a new universe from scratch, answering questions, and if you get the answer right, the answer gets generated in the universe. So it'd be sort of like a physics sandbox, and the questions would start off with questions like the answer would be water, and then you could have water to place down in the universe. And I guess if you did it wrong, did things in the wrong order or answered wrongly, like the laws of physics would collapse and the universe would break, and you'd have to rebirth it with new elements.
Can you give me an example of a tactical RPG so that I don't go off down the wrong?
Great question.
Yes, I also did not include that. I would say, what are they called? Fire Emblem, maybe. And some sort of, I guess, an RPG with so a character like Advance Wars with the characters. So Fire Emblem's the only one that comes to mind. So that's not what I included at all.
But we can be selective with which elements we
Oh, and it would be things like things like the original Fallout. So, well, I guess Fallout would be a tactical RPG. So, usually an isometric one, I guess, or one with grids, but with characters as well. So you could upgrade your character with skills, move around a grid, doing fights tactically, turn-based perhaps, or we have action points or something like that.
Cool.
But I'm struggling to think of any other examples. So that was not a great suggestion for me because I ignored half the thing.
No, I think that was a really strong suggestion. I think my initial thoughts were maybe your character would be some kind of like quiz master who is going around, and you have to ask questions of other people, and maybe that somehow, I like the idea of building the universe with that. Maybe you've got to ask the right questions of people, and perhaps there could be a slight educational aspect to it as well, so that if you ask questions about kind of laws of physics, say, then they would populate. But it might also be interesting to see what happens in your engine if you have a very slow speed of light, or gravity is twice as big. I think there's some richness in that godlike creativity.
I guess the tactical RPG would come from your god character, but yeah.
Cookie, what are your thoughts?
What Rebirth and Universe suggests to me is it Outer Wilds, where you basically keep dying and replaying, learning?
Yeah.
You don't die, you restart and you learn new knowledge.
Yes.
So
one of the best games ever made.
You would play from the start of the universe to the end, and at the end the universe would obviously end, but you'd keep the knowledge that you'd gained and go back.
Yeah, I think that's what happens in. I think No Man's Sky. The end, the kind of mission is flying from planet to planet to get to the middle of the galaxy or the universe, and then when you get there, the game like restarts, and everyone was a bit annoyed. But because if you carry everything over, that's quite good. Idea.
Yeah, so there'd be something trivia based to solve, but you wouldn't be able to do it the first time round. You just keep,
yeah.
And there'd be clues right at the end of the universe, and there'd be clues at the start, and
yeah,
you'd only be able to get so many on one one playthrough.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of this is Outer Wilds.
Yeah, it's essentially, but with some sort of tactical RPG elements.
Played,
like
I played it secondhand through you, basically.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could lean into trivia plus tactical by having some kind of strange multiple choice questions, whereby if I ask you how tall is the Eiffel Tower or whatever it is in the universe, and you give me something that's close to it within, say, 10%, then maybe you do a really powerful attack against your opponent. But if you're way out by a factor of, I don't know, 100, then you're less accurate. So it kind of like trains you in your ability to give correctish answers to maybe numeric questions or multiple choice questions.
Yeah, that'd be good. I always wanted a game like this where you could ask someone sort of how tall is the Eiffel Tower, and whatever your answer was, it would make the Eiffel Tower that tall. So every answer you would give would be correct, and it would also generate all the like implications of what the world would be like if that were true. So like if you say water boils at what does water boil at 1,000 degrees, and it would rewrite all the physics of the world around that fact.
That's you should have gone into like climate modelling or something like that, because that's basically
Yeah.
that. Like,
That's
what
somewhat
happens
like
if we burn all the carbon?
Yeah.
I mean, we could definitely lead into that. I think now is the time when people are taking a stronger interest in climate change games. So that could be a great way to do it. And it reminds me a little bit of the Baba Is You game that was also in my top 100, where you
Oh, yeah, that
literally
looks good.
push around blocks to make new rules of the whole game. So that could be something that we take inspiration from for those kind of simple global rules that you can dictate.
That's what Hannah did in her degree, apparently. That's good.
Okay, so that's
So
a good warm up
so yeah, let's
game. Let's see what
Screenshot that
we
and
get.
I've got this
that
pen.
one in
I've got this pen, right? I think somebody must have got it from like one of those career development days, and it has like a metal thing on the side, but you can pull it out, and it's got like a whole advert inside it. There must be some.
Does it snap back, or do you have to like feed it back?
No, it
in?
does
Oh, that's
snap.
cool.
Yeah, but I was wondering what like funny stuff you could write on it. Like you could give them out at sort of a career development day, but it's not for a business. It's just like I got an abusive message or something inside it. Look behind you. Oh, this
Peter, I think you're going to tell us about a cursed object.
Oh, the
Is that
cursed
your
object that Hannah
object?
bought. It is a birthday cake flavor high protein bar, which I'm not sure what the audience for this is, and it's odd. It's sort of a soft base, and it's got this kind of texture underneath the icing that's like a dried leaf or something, and it's got like hardly any sugar in, so it's just like protein in the shape of a birthday cake with a pink wrapper on. Anyway, it's quite cursed.
Wow. I guess like maybe you're a fitness person and it's your
Yeah, but it's like, I
birthday
don't-
and like
I feel like protein bars are quite weird anyway, aren't they? Don't they all have like weird
Yeah,
textures
what,
and consistencies?
and also what is the flavor of a birthday cake, and how does that separate from like cake?
Candy and sugar and icing.
Isn't that just
Icing,
cake?
basically. Lots of icing. Well,
Well, I guess you never get cake flavored
more,
stuff,
more
do you?
icing on your birthday.
Yeah. And
Do you ever
wax.
get an ice cake?
Maybe these
otherwise?
bits are all wax. Maybe that's why it tastes weird. Sorry, that was the cursed object of the week.
that can be feel free to use that as a wild card element as we hit generate one more time. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay.
Extra game.
I don't know what exagame is.
I'm stealing that from
Exergamy.
I do not know what exagame is or exergamy.
Let's have
This game, I should say, credit to Wikipedia for providing a list of all game genres. I suggest we maybe take.
Oh,
a
it's an
brief
exercise
moment.
game, like a
Okay.
fitness game,
Like
exagaming,
Ring
or
Fit?
exagaming, or
Is it Ring-
gamersizing, which
Okay.
gamersizing sounds like a cross between gaming and circumcising.
So, are we talking like Ring Fit, or are we talking like?
Yes.
Or
I'm feeling
yeah.
ring fit.
Wing
the theme
fit.
is violence.
Yeah, wing.
So,
I mean, I guess this is basically just a VR game, isn't it? I think.
boxing.
Uh,
the wild card is kindness. So interesting kind of conflict of ideas. here.
Survival.
maybe this is where you have to peck on the cheek people to death. Harking
You've
back.
got to kill to be kind. Euthanasia game.
You got to kill to be kind. Is that a phrase?
Yeah. No. Is it a phrase?
You got to be
kill
cruel to
no.
cruel to be kind, isn't it?
You got to be cruel. Yeah.
And
You can kill with kindness.
Yeah, you kill with kindness,
Okay. Right. I've conflated
you've
a
got
few
to-
ideas there.
and you've got some big life decisions to
I think it's
reconsider
a
now.
day-to-day line, is it? You've got to kill people to have respect for people. That's a line from the day-to-day.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you said a day to day.
No,
Like,
no, it's
that's
a
the thing.
quote from today.
That's the thing. Everyone says, isn't it? You've got to kill people to respect them. Or the Buddha famously said, if you see the Buddha in the street, kill him, something like that. But I don't think he meant it literally. Anyway, so my thing would be, yeah, you've got to kiss zombies to turn them back into people. But in VR, so you can grab them and like push them away or pull them close to you. But you've got to kiss them on the cheek so as not to avoid their like snapping mouths.
Okay, yeah, that sounds very original. You got survival and you got violence, you got kindness. And the exercise, I suppose, is the physical
Is the-
VR kind of dimension.
Yep.
Excellent demo. Cookie, any reflections, initial thoughts, different directions or builds on that?
Not on that idea per se. What I'm struggling to build in that kindness. What the top three put in mind to me is though those, I think they're quite a fad for a while where you had real life like zombie running apps where it made it look like you were being chased by zombies and you would run faster. But again, what I've done there is just said an existing game. It's hard to build that kindness in, isn't it?
Yeah. Maybe kindness.
What if you could slow down the zombies by doing a good deed, such as running to a predetermined location and helping with an allotment or giving a compliment to a stranger?
I'm interested as to why helping with an allotment was your first go-to example of being kind.
I guess I was trying to think of something outdoors if you're running. So
It'll be funny, just running through the allotment, just like desperately pruning and stuff. There's no time to explain. I've got to
it's hard to be
fertilize the
kind.
tomatoes.
It's hard to be kind when you're exercising because a lot of kindness is static. I would say.
Speedily helping old women cross the road, but like,
come on.
yeah, bite
Or
through violence.
You get slower and slower until you do a kind deed and then you speed up.
Ah, yeah.
So I don't know how you'd work
Well,
that in because again, you'd be going too fast to do anything kind.
But you'd have to slow yourself down to like, refill your stamina bar or something like that.
Or you can convert the zombies by doing kindness around them, but again, that's difficult.
Yeah, I don't know. How would you? Is it?
My
Are we
head
thinking?
initially. Oh, go on.
Sorry, go on. Are we thinking a real world game like the zombie apps, or are we thinking like a virtual VR style game?
I was thinking real world. I think Exagame. It has to be the way things are going. Has to be real world.
My head went to I guess like not actually a video game, but kind of like a Bear Grylls experience where you'd be on an actual island and you'd have to survive doing kind of bush tucker trials and chopping down trees. And I guess blending that with Peter's VR idea, you could have some kind of like exercise where you've got to build a shelter, say in VR, by chopping down trees, moving wood, building a roof. And maybe it has like a Minecraft element where at night time you've got to kind of like fend off zombies from your shelter and like rebuild it as it gets destroyed. Maybe give them a few quick pecks on the cheek. Maybe befriend other tribes or islanders to help you by being kind to them. So yeah, some kind of like island zombie survival.
And just independently of this, a VR survival game on an island would be great. If you had a physics engine that you could actually build, sort of pull branches off and stuff and chop them, that'd be cool. I think I've now broken this pen by getting the metal bit trapped upside down in the side of the pen. So I'll try and get that out for the rest of the stream. We're gonna have to take a quick break because we're gonna get kicked out. So I think should we do one more when we come back and then we'll pick which one to do.
Come back and then we'll pick our favorite.
So we'll be back in 2 minutes.
With over 100 new Pokemon in Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Pearl, they're gonna be everywhere. Ready to catch, battle, and trade. Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Pearl. Gotta catch 'em all. Only for Nintendo DS, rated E for everyone.
An epic battle is about to begin. Choose your favorite Pokemon and test their skills. Feature figures come with real battle action. Train, launch, and battle. Discover legendary Pokemon. Pokemon figures.
From character. Available now at Smith's Toys Superstores.
There's a bowl of fun inside every can of Heinz Pokemon pasta. It's your favorite Pokemon characters as fun-shaped noodles in a yummy Heinz tomato sauce. New Heinz Pokemon pasta. Can you catch 'em all? Can you eat 'em all?
What do big kids want? More spikes! More flips! More flips! More food! Big kids want to be treated like big kids.
Hey, we hear you. That's why the Burger King Big Kids meal has more great tasting food, fun, and of course, a cool toy. Want to take Game Boy to a whole new level? You can come to Burger King to celebrate the release of Pokemon Gold and Silver.
Pikachu!
With new mini Game Boy collectible toys. 8 different toys with all new characters. And a cool Pokemon figure. There's one in every Big Kids meal. Taste rules.
You've conquered red. You've mastered blue. You've triumphed over yellow. You've caught them all. And now you're ready for the next step. Welcome to the world of Pokemon Gold and Silver. Tons of new Pokemon, new adventures, and worlds to explore. New badges to collect. So you've got to ask yourself, have you got what it takes? Pokemon Gold and Silver, rated E for everyone. Gotta catch 'em all.
Get ready for your Pokemon journey with Trainer Guess.
I can read your mind. Think of the Pokemon you want me to guess.
Is it an electric type?
Yes.
Is it found underwater? Is your Pokemon mainly yellow? You were thinking of Pikachu.
Help to guess your Pokemon and it'll be added to your electronic collection. 251 Pokemon included. Check them in your field guide. Catch all of them with Trainer Guess. Johto Edition.
Available now at Smith's Toys Superstores.
Digest. Walls, chalk ices, 12s, £1.99. Coca-Cola, 2x2 litre, £1.79. Lambrusco White, 1.5 litre, £3.19. Also, Titan Pilsener and Titan Bitter, both at only 33 pence per 500 ml. Quality and at water price.
And now here's an important announcement from Aladdin's Cave Guernsey. Yes, it's Aladdin's Cave's January sale, and it's on now.
And we're back.
Welcome back, folks, to the Lazy Poet Game Generator. So far, we've had a go at exploring a trivia game where you build the universe. And we've also had a discussion of a island zombie survival game where you build things and maybe use kissing to convert zombies with kindness. And now we are going to, drum roll please, hit generate and see what our third offering is from the Lazy Poet Game Generator. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay.
Oh,
interesting. Okay, so we've got sandbox RPG, adventure, lore as the theme, and wildcard is work.
Okay, good. Yeah. Again, my question: What is a sandbox? What is a video game? What is a sandbox
I guess
RPG?
I would define a sandbox RPG as something like Grand Theft Auto, or that's more of a sandbox adventure game, but Skyrim, where there's like an open world and you can do things as I guess Breath of the Wild might be a sandbox RPG. I'll just say this, Google and see if there's any.
Sandbox suggests opportunities for creativity and self-expression. Like sandbox in itself. Makes you think of
Minecraft
things
is
like
Minecraft will be an obvious one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Minecraft was what I was thinking.
Yeah. And Terraria, and then to the slightly lesser extent Skyrim and Fallout, but not as much because that's not quite as sandboxy. So yeah, that's right. So
we've got this big, wide open, creative kind of sort of feel to it, but we've also got lore and work, and that's a really interesting intersection. I'm actually reminded a little bit of like the previous one about kind of laws of the universe, and maybe law is not kind of like judges and courts. Maybe law, it's more like Newton's laws or thermodynamics or kind of physics laws.
Again, we're orbiting a theme here. So law and so there's a game called Postal which I've never played, and apparently Postal 2 is the way somebody described it was that it's like a sandbox town. You've got like a crappy job in a factory or something, but you kind of notice all the weapons around you, because you win the game by basically going to work and doing nothing fun and just like doing your work and going home. But the temptation, because it's a video game, is always there to just like go postal and mental and kill people and have fun. So you can just like burn stuff down and do whatever you want, get shot, arrested, kill people, wee on things, I think. That sounds like a great... I don't know if that's actually the game or not, because I've never played it, but that sounds very fun. Where the game is the really boring bit and the sandbox bit is something you're supposed to resist if you want to win the game. Sort of like when you're playing GTA, and after a certain period of time, you just always stop playing the story, and just every time you go on it, cannot resist the temptation to just murder people.
So I'm imagining a toddler in a room who's got like a big red button in front of them, and like a parent saying, "Okay, you can complete the game, or you can I don't know, have whatever privilege, watch TV if you don't press the big red button, and like you can do that as a player." But if you do press the big red button, like suddenly you get all of these godlike powers of cosmic proportions to just do whatever you want. And maybe leaning into the idea of you being a toddler, maybe you can make pirates riding dinosaurs appear, like mermaids flying out of the sky, fairies riding unicorns. So it's just basically whatever you might possibly want in a kind of over the top childish way. Or you can have this like quite simple like actual achievement of winning the game by not pressing the
Yeah, exactly. So the more you play the game in a boring way, the better powers you get that you could use, but then you'd stop getting better powers. So you have to do loads of boring... It's like a meta commentary on completionist games and the satisfaction of work. So you do boring stuff to get more powers, but as soon as you use any of those powers, you can't get any more. You're at that level. So the best way to play the game would be to play it really boring for like 60 hours, and then once you've maxed out everything, then have fun. But there's no way of unlocking the powers apart from putting in the grind of the boring work.
You maybe call it chores today for jam tomorrow or something.
Maybe a bit catchier than that, but yeah.
CTFJY.
Yeah, jam tomorrow. That would be a good name for it. Yeah, jam tomorrow. So yeah, the game would just give you loads of boring tasks, or doesn't sound that fun, does it? But, I guess GTA is basically the same, isn't it? But not boring, like fun, because you unlock all the islands and stuff, don't you? And more vehicles and weapons and houses.
Maybe we could disguise it as something like one of those games where you have to learn how to type or something. So it's like something that teaches you a real world skill, and that's how it's marketed.
It could be that you work for, do you know Amazon's Mechanical Turk thing, where they get people to do actual manual labor for pittance, but you just do actual data entry work in exchange for unlocking bits of the game. So instead of watching an ad, the game's free, but you unlock parts of the game by doing actual work, like actual data entry. That is then checked with other players, and that gives you rewards in the game. That's a good idea. That's like a genuinely good sellable idea.
Sounds great. Yeah. Cool. So, any kind of themes particularly resonating with you? So we've got somebody doing this data entry. I'm imagining them in like a virtual 3D rendered like office environment, like very muted pastel colors, perhaps. But then maybe like there's this big red button or something that you can do, and then certain things happen. What's the kind of different stages you would have from like 1 hour's worth of work versus a full day's work?
Yeah, I guess. You could use this game to like generate a whole new economy where instead of just data entry work, you expand it to all other forms of work. So you have like, do you know in Snow Crash, the 3D VR version of the internet, like Second Life but in VR, and it all takes place inside this physics sandbox universe, and you do work, and then you use that money to buy fictional stuff in the game that is therefore worth actual money because it's pegged one-to-one to the real economy. And it would create a kind of a spin-off Second Life type universe backed up with real dollars that you've worked for.
I'd completely forgotten about Second Life.
Yeah, I think it still exists I think it's probably just fetishists in there now, but I'm surprised it hasn't come back in like VR, like a VR version. You think they would be ripe for something like that?
You could have an interesting almost pyramid-like structure whereby those that have invested the most time in working control the universe in a fictional way, and they can like create laws. And if you're the absolute kind of like a number one player, just to make it really horrible, maybe you can put taxes on other people, or maybe you can, I don't know, give everyone a really fast unicorn pet or
Yeah.
something.
Have you ever played EVE Online? This is similar to that. It's a spaceship simulator game where you get basically just do like space work. You get a ship and you either mine or fight pirates and stuff in exchange for currency. But because I think there's a lot of players and it's kind of a static universe. Everyone's in the same universe, I think, and with different factions and stuff. So because people can buy ships with real money, the economy, the currency in the game is actually worth money. I think you can buy it for real money. But it has like its own mini economy to it. And yeah, the people in that you get massive ship. You can't change the laws of physics, but you can buy sort of massive fleet carriers and stuff, and theoretically go and destroy someone else's ship that costs $2,000.
I think a spaceship theme is more compelling than just an office, if I'm honest. So maybe not doing spaceships exactly, but maybe there could be something where you can have like a really distinct avatar to represent your success, so that if you did extremely well, you've got a giant version, and if you're doing not very well, you've got a basic version. So we have a good carrot to incentivize people.
And because the in-game progression will be linked to actual work, presumably you wouldn't be able to buy just like work, although you could in real life pay someone to play the game for you, I suppose. There'd be a certain stakes to it. So if your ship or whatever blew up, that would be sort of 100 hours of actual real life work that you've destroyed, so that you wouldn't go around. It would stop griefing, which is where, like in GTA, for instance, you go in and just blow people's expensive cars up with a machine gun, with a rocket launcher, and ruin their game. But if everything was linked to real world money and consequences, you'd be less likely to do that, maybe.
He says.
The thing is, you could try, but you'd have the people you're attacking would have more defense and stuff, so you'd have to have already put in a lot of work to get a powerful enough weapon to attack people, and you would therefore presumably get attacked and lose that weapon as well.
And I suppose once you start doing things like attacking, are you then forfeiting your chance to upgrade anyway? So maybe you might get people who are kind of they've played it for a day and then they decide to go into play mode and then just wreak havoc on everybody else, and there's somebody who's been playing it for 3 months who just loses everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it sounds quite a stressful game, doesn't it? I'm not sure where lore comes into it. We need to bring the lore element back as well. Anyway, should we pick one of these before we go too far into one?
Yeah. So just to revisit, we've got the one we just described, the sandboxy kind of work-based game. We've got the island, possibly survival with zombies game with an exercise dimension. Then we've got a trivia game where you build the universe and possibly have powers based on your ability to answer questions. Any preferences, or we can, if we want, hit generate if we are not satisfied with any of those?
I'm tempted to hit generate, and we'll have to go with a new one, whatever it is.
I would go number 2 if I was voting.
What does the chat think as well? And also, what do you think, John?
I'm feeling a bit more warmed up now, and the J.J. Abrams part of me wants to just open the mystery box and click generate. I will probably spend the rest of my evening after this just clicking generate again and again and again, just because of the kind of dopamine trick that it plays on my brain. But I suppose number 2, sounds like it has the most kind of legs for me as well, but equally happy to hit generate. I propose we hit generate, have a look, and then cheat and
Okay, yeah.
go back, and it's either this new one that we generate or the other one. So
Okay, but
let's
we're
see
not
what
allowed to talk. So we've got to see the new ones, and then we either say the new one or number 2 without discussing what
Okay.
we think. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
A lot of sandbox, aren't there?
A lot of lore as well.
Okay, I made my choice.
Oh God. No, okay. Okay. I have also made my
Have
choice.
you made up your mind?
I'm sort of on the fence, but I will lean one way when we decide.
Okay, I'm going to hold up my fingers with the number that I'd like to go with. Let's call this number 4 and the other option number 2.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go. Okay.
Oh, outvoted.
This is too similar to the one that
Yeah,
we
can I just say,
did.
for this one, it was going to be. Do you remember in about you probably don't remember in about 2010 they released an arcade game based about Yoda, and you were supposed to sit opposite each other and put your hands on this ball, and there would be a ball between you and the person with the most willpower. It was like hooked up to your brain somehow. You had like a helmet on,
I remember that.
and the person with the most willpower would like
no
move
memory
it
of that.
towards the other person. It was going to be based on that, but that's essentially already a game that exists. So yeah. Okay, so back to number 2, and we will close screen sharing and get on with the. Can you stop screen sharing, John? I don't think I can do that.
Yes,
I can do it. Okay. And then we go to the old whiteboard.
I'm also going to spend a moment to just bring that image into the whiteboard.
So this is the game we come up with has got to be better than Pooper Trooper, which was a game about dogs making big piles of turds on the Isle of Dogs, which would then topple over and cover the city of London in poo while somebody tries to clean it up. And Moloch, which was a sort of labyrinth game where you to kill Moloch, the god of capitalism.
Were you trying to save London, or were you the dogs trying to?
One player
cover
was the
its
dogs,
feces?
and one player was the
Oh.
cleaner trying to clean up London. So the cleaner got upgraded abilities, and the dogs spawned more dogs. And if you, I think, were you a dog catcher as well as a cleaner? And then you could catch
I think
the
you're
dogs.
one or the other.
Yeah, and then it was quite a good game, actually, I think, in the end. We'll do a proper pitch at some point.
Okay, I'll just check where you're working, Peter, in this virtual board. Is it down below?
Yeah, below there. Yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
I will control the camera if you could.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to share your screen on the Zoom and we can see what you've got in shot.
Don't think. Oh no, I can't do that because it'll move the cameras. So basically, I'll just keep moving it around until.
Okay, so let's do some design thinking. I don't know if either of you are familiar with the design thinking process, but we basically do divergent thinking first, then convergent thinking.
Oh God!
Normally we do it twice, but
You're gonna have to explain about 10 terms there.
Okay. Basically,
what is
first off,
business?
What is thinking?
To put it really, really simply, we just come up with as many silly ideas as possible to start off with and not rule anything out too early. So we've got a really rich set of things to call upon. And then a bit later on, we'll try and zero in on what we think is the most powerful idea.
What was the title?
Brainstorming.
What was the phrase you came up with? Kill. You got to kill to be kind. Was that it?
Yeah. You gotta kill to be kind.
Kill with kindness.
A title. You got to kill to be kind.
Good
Right.
suggestion.
So an exit game. So it has to be some sort of physical exercise.
So I'm going to just write down every exercise thing I can think of that was vaguely related to what we had. So maybe punching could be one.
Kicking could be another one.
pecking on the cheek.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pecking on other parts of the body.
No.
I like how
Sexy game.
the conversation about chickens has bled into our game creation in a key way.
Like a chicken's
chopping-
foot.
Imagine kicking. Running, chopping. Okay, maybe like a game sort of like a VR version of GoldenEye Slaps Only, where you go
Where
around.
does the kindness? We're just thinking about the violence now. We're not thinking about the kindness.
Yeah, we could bring in the kindness later.
What else would you do on an island? You might do fishing to survive. What would you do?
Chopping wood.
Yeah, I got chopping. Maybe
Building
start a fire.
Converting the natives to Christianity.
I mean, that is violence and kindness. I'm sorry, it's for your own good. We've got to destroy your culture. Hey, like a game of converting people to your religion would be violent and kindness. You'd think it was kindness, but it'd be violence. Ideally, yeah, you want something that you think is kindness, but is actually violence, or vice versa.
Converting. Growing your cult. What more survival elements did we have? I think we had zombies.
Right, I think for unique survival. So, maybe you're stuck.
Maybe drowning.
Under the sea? That's basically Subnautica, isn't it? Stuck somewhere that's not traditionally used in games.
In a volcano.
In no man's land during a big war. And you've got to go around putting injured soldiers out of their misery through violence. But to be kind.
That's dark.
That's very dark.
Angel of Mercy, the game.
It's not something I've seen. Probably for good reason.
What Cookie, what's your worst nightmare?
Is this for the game or?
Just no, it's
What is
generally.
claustrophobic, being stuck somewhere like really, like in a tunnel or something.
I thought you were the opposite. I thought you didn't like the opposite of a tunnel.
I don't like open spaces or enclosed spaces.
So just medium space.
As long as I've got a little bit of room, but not too much room.
So like a big coffin, like a.
Actually, a agoraphobia game would be quite. I mean,
Yeah,
it'd be
that would be
boring.
interesting.
You just run to an enclosed space, presumably.
Oh, I suppose, yeah. But then you'd have to keep going out to get stuff, like surviving stuff. Okay.
Peter, just on the same topic, what's your worst nightmare?
Okay, it's very specific. It's been in a spacesuit in space, and you've been like you were like on the outside of a spaceship or something, and you've come on loose, and you're just drifting through space, and you slowly drift around because you can't control your speed, and like Jupiter is there, like massive, like sort of scary massive Jupiter, and you just like slowly fall into Jupiter over the course of a day or two, slowly spinning so that every time you rotate, Jupiter's just bigger and bigger and bigger, and you can see your fate. I think I saw it once on TV when I was very little, and it's genuinely scary. Which is
sounds like the end of 2001. It's not like that, but
there is
Gravity.
one of those. Yeah, Gravity maybe. I think it was on like a BBC drama about like some space people who went to visit all the planets or something, and yeah, one of them gets kicked out over Jupiter. I can't remember if she falls in or not, but there was a scene where she like rotated.
Okay.
So yeah, there you go.
I feel like space would have some very interesting physics for an EXA game. Like zero gravity would mean that you could have lots of weird things float your way.
I think there's a VR game that I really want to play where you have to like clamber up the outside of like a spaceship using your arms onto like the hull and stuff.
hard to do kindness in space because it's not populated.
Yeah,
but you could do. I guess you could do kindness for
from afar,
aliens,
like
or other spaceships, or to other
Well, you could get a big sniper rifle and put people out their misery.
I'm disturbed by how warped your version of kindness is. It's just like always like...
shooting people.
Or maybe you go around.
Guys, have we thought about shooting people?
Maybe you you go around seeding planets. Not in a sexy way, but like in a you go around seeding yourself onto planets from space, shooting them. But
it's exercise of a
sort. And you seeding life onto the planets, and then going off and doing something else, and coming back and see what you've spawned.
I guess that kind of fits with the surviving on an island. There's something about like maybe you're being kind to plants, and maybe you're growing things to help you survive.
Well, you seed a planet, you go away, fly away, come back later, and then you've got to sort of sort out your rowdy children. So if they're kicking off, you've got to sort of shoot the right person to like assassinate political leaders or something to be kind to the long-term survival of the species. So you lose as soon as a species eradicates itself. So either you can focus all your time on one planet, just kind of trying to keep track of everything, like, you know, making fascist dictators' planes crash and stuff, or you go and cross seed other planets and hoping, and eventually they'll interact and sort of develop bigger, more successful economies, therefore raising the chances they will last further into the future.
I think those sort of spinning plate games are always quite fun. That's what I like about Age of Empires, because you can have a little skirmish going on over there, but then what's that? Your farms are untended. So I like that. Yeah, that's good. Where does the exercise come in? The seeding.
Oh, I get the exercise. I don't know where the exercise will come in. Maybe you have to. Oh, I don't know.
Your spaceship is powered by running. So you've got to run between.
Yeah, it's like maybe you're not even in a spaceship. You're just sort of a running man, like a
running deity.
You're like deity, like Hermes. Deity. Yeah. I think that we'd have to bring in the exercise more. Yeah, maybe, or you're inside a giant robot and you've got to sort of run around all the bits and pull levers and
I like that
stuff.
Yeah, that's a way to build in all kinds of different forms of exercise.
So you charge up all the bits of the robot by like doing all your ring fit exercises, and then you can march around. You land on the planet, sort of like Prince Philip landing on that island where they all think he's a god. Sometimes they think you're a god, and sometimes they would treat you as some sort of devil.
You're some kind of terraforming robot where you go and make things more like Earth.
Yeah, I guess so. But these are all quite high concept today. Like there's a lot of changing the laws of physics and controlling the narrative of all civilizations.
There's no need. This one could have been quite, because it's exercise and kindness. It could have been like, I don't know, we could have just been in an office or something.
Helping people with their allotments.
We're terraforming the universe.
Okay, all right.
And trying to stop society's dissolving.
It's a lot to model. I'm just gonna say.
I mean, it says a lot about us.
Or you maybe from scratch you just walk around a gym and tell people how to do exercises properly. And if they don't, you slap them.
What would be the survival element of the gym version?
Like beefcake should be coming up. If you slap the wrong person, like beefcakes come and beat you up, and then you got to fight them.
I mean, you could have, because you've got all these exercise out which try and get people to exercise, and they don't work because it's based on willpower. But you could have one which, like, if you don't exercise, it electrocutes you, or it, like, I don't know, you get some violence done to you if you don't exercise hard enough.
Yeah, somebody did invent like a vest that if you get shot in a game, it kind of gives you an electric shock, which sounds fun for like a few minutes, and then it would get quite annoying.
If you had real world,
there was an advert in the back of a games magazine once that they had like fake adverts for fake products, but I didn't realize they were fake when I was like 7. So there was one that was a giant boxing glove that would sit on top of your screen, and if you got shot in a game, it would punch you in the face. And there was another one that was trousers that were made out of light. And I was like, I think I might have asked my mum once for these, like, trousers that were made out of the concept of light, and she didn't know what I was talking about.
That is very amusing.
I also asked my mum once
so-
for. We were watching CBBC, and I asked my mum for one of those cool T-shirts with the clip-on that they were wearing, because they all used to wear those clip-on microphones around their neck, and I thought that was a cool brand of T-shirt that comes with like a little black thing, but it was obviously just a TV microphone. So again, she didn't buy me one of those.
She could have bought you a TV microphone.
Yeah, that's the power of product placement for kids, though. Or for me, I suppose.
feel like I'm sensing almost like a spectrum from terraforming planet protagonist to gym guy as almost like a spectrum.
Okay, I'm interested to hear this thesis.
I mean that's kind of it.
You either die a terraforming robot or live long enough to see yourself become a gym guy.
Pretty
I
much.
think that, yeah.
It's like the Virgin Chad meme, but a terraforming robot and a gym guy.
So I guess like that's the two. There's the universe extreme or the room extreme. Cookie, what were you gonna say?
I felt there was more potential in the universe. I thought we were having more fun with the universe.
Yeah, I think
ones,
that's,
but-
yeah. The gym one was sort of passive aggressive because you were telling me I was too big scale. Well, I do like the idea of a gym guy getting so annoyed in the gym he designs a massive terraforming robot to get laid or something. The ultimate incel.
Well, I think there's also maybe a third option, which is maybe the island, which is like a kind of mini universe of sorts, but a bit bigger than the gym. So that's just another scale to put on the table.
Yeah, I guess that the difference between the terraforming robot on planets and going to islands is sort of academic, isn't it? It's basically the same game on a different scale. Island is probably more easily programmable.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of having an island theme with robots. I think that could be quite fun. Give them almost like a tropical kind of look. Whereas like robots plus space is an aesthetic we've seen before, but robots plus islands. It makes me think of the Castle in the Sky film by Studio Ghibli, where they've got this floating castle island with these strange robots that have got like kind of arms that curve in this really interesting way, and they're kind of almost like fluid but also robotic. I feel like you could have some interesting organically themed robots almost.
Okay, yeah, I'm down with that. I don't think I've ever said I'm down with that before. So instead of seeding the planets, should we say biologically?
They literally seed the planet because they're organic robots and they've got like a seed.
I was going to say they're actually robots, but they sort of put down like a robot seed that makes like nanobots or something that the robots then have to mine stuff to make more robots and stuff. I mean, again, it's quite academic whether they're all biological or robots, I suppose, but robots are cooler.
It'll be explained in the mythos, the world building novels that we.
The other type of lore. Okay, yeah, I'm down with Hawaiian robots.
Amazing. So I think we've got enough kind of ideas on the table. Do you want to describe to me maybe what the first level would look like?
I'm trying to distance myself from Spore here because I keep getting Spore in my head. I suppose you'd pick. I'm also forgetting to put the exercise bits in.
I think for me, it would be starting off with travel. So you're in your robot and you've got to go to your first island to seed it. And maybe you're out in the ocean and you've got to propel your robot across the water by doing some kind of turning mechanism that makes your propeller go round.
I'd go earlier than that. I'd say you're inside like a completely dead robot, and then you have to like wake it up bit by bit to teach you all the physical movements to control it. It'd be good if instead of, do you know that game Q-Op where you control a runner's limbs individually or like joints individually? If you did that for a giant robot and you have to like do exercises to control all the different bits, and the plate spinning can come into the like limbs as well, because if one of your legs is getting tired, it'll collapse and your robot will keel over into the sea.
Interesting. So you've almost got to alternate different types of exercise to kind of keep it going.
Yeah.
Is kind of what I'm sensing. Almost like patting your stomach and rubbing your head or whatever.
Yep.
Okay, interesting. I like the kind of franticness that would come with that. So wake up robot, do different exercises.
Oh, I've taken a letter from somewhere. Where's this letter come from? It's an R.
Not sure. It looks like a. I'm not sure.
Oh, it was the robot.
Just add it. Break up robot. Interesting twist. Okay. Cookie, do you have any ideas for a second level?
Sorry, I missed most of the first one.
You basically, your robot's dead, and it just teaches you how to control it, all the limbs using different exercises.
Okay. Do we need to bring the kindness in somewhere? So I guess the second level could be where you start to. So we're on an island, or we're on islands. We're on.
Yeah, like a sort of
I'm imagining like
a Wind Waker type world.
Sorry. So the first level, you wake yourself up, and then you can start traveling around and seeding other islands, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess.
Would you start? Are we starting on an island, or are we starting?
I think you start in the sea, and you just go find an island
sea.
and see if you want to use that one. I'm imagining like a Wind Waker style world where the islands are randomly generated. So you'd only have limited energy though, because I guess your energy will be limited by your physical capacity to keep running. So if you find an island but you want to go see if there's a better one, you'd have to decide, can I exercise long enough to get to the other island?
Oh, you're on mute.
Pardon?
Task when you got there could exceed your exercise capacity at this point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Robot.
You are too fat to get to this island.
Yeah, yeah. Or like you're too weak to, I don't know, chop the tree down. Or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So you'd have to find the correct.
So I guess you'd start off trying to make a basic civilization, and maybe the civilization. You have to get the civilizations on the island to a certain point to design and manufacture upgrades to your robot that let you get further and further. Would make obvious sense. So there'd be like maybe an objective on each island for a different upgrade, or similar. And maybe you can take a few with you to do some of the exercises for you in the robot to lower your.
So maybe the lore, if you will, for a moment, is that you are just a human who's been landed on this strange place where all you have available to you is a really specific and strange robot, and the only way for you to get off the island is to help the robot reach a level of sophistication by seeding 10 islands and doing various tasks, and then you kind of unlock something that allows you to get back to your home world.
Yeah.
But
so basically,
play its game.
Factorio is very similar to that. So yeah, that has a good progression.
Yeah, I guess asking the why might help us with the why are you in the why is this person why is this alien in the
yeah I guess
robot?
A human just sort of
wakes up in a
I guess the later game as well could be that you go back to the islands right from the start that have continued to develop in weird ways, and you get them to work together with all the other islands to kind of do a big project to get you off a rocket ship.
Okay, I'm putting that in as the fourth level almost. Big project. So that
you could do it as like a
third level.
A roguelike type game where you start from the start each time, or it could be quite a long game.
We're going to run out of time.
Oh, we are going to run out of time. Quick break, and then we'll be back for the final part where we finally get our acts together. Adverts for 2 minutes.
This is flying. This is real flying. This is racing. This is real racing. This is action. This is real action. Now the real 3DO player is here. Only from Panasonic. An interactive multiplayer that's up to 50 times more powerful than ordinary systems. So get real. The 3DO interactive multiplayer. Only from Panasonic.
My uncle brews beer in a plastic dustbin. He keeps it in the yard for days on end. Each pint costs half a p, but it tastes like stagnant tea. One sip of it would drive you round the bend. So when I go to stay with my old uncle, I have to take an extra case with me. Wherever you may roam, you're never far from home, 'cause you know where you are with DD.
No, thank you, Uncle.
You know where you are with DD.
And here we are, back to do the game bit of the game. So Hannah in the chat has suggested that the robot is like your exoskeleton, who helps you to chop wood and fish and build pyramids and stuff.
That's good.
So it could be that instead of running around a giant robot like pumping iron in its legs and stuff, the exoskeleton just makes stuff easier for you. So you can manually chop wood as an exercise, but it takes forever without your exoskeleton. You get upgrades to make the exercise easier. And your character gets stronger, I suppose, or will you get stronger?
Yeah, I'm seeing it as a bit of a blend of an exoskeleton and a robot, depending on, I guess, what gives us the most fun exercises for the player to do. I think being inside a robot gives you some advantages, and being a superpowered person in an exosuit also gives you some advantages.
I guess you could build your way up from an exoskeleton to a giant robot at the end.
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like we've got almost like a full arc of a story. So you land on the planet, you use this robot exoskeleton to seed a load of islands, and those islands at some point mature and collaborate to create some kind of escape vehicle for yourself to then get back to your home, whatever that is, through a wormhole or a spaceship, or I don't know, a giant trampoline. So
Where's
I guess we need.
Where's the violence? I need violence.
Where's the violence?
Oh, we don't
Okay.
have to use it, do we? But
I think the violence would be you like intervening in these cultures as they evolve. Like you'd come back and do a show of force to keep them in line, keep them in check. And you could choose not to, but the game would be much harder if you.
yeah, that's good.
So
Do you have
very colonial?
yeah, exactly. But
so you have these. I'm struggling to visualize, I suppose, these growing cultures of robots on the island. Can you bring it to life for us?
it would
what
be
that might
sort
look
of
like
like a basic, like a tribal culture type thing, with leaders and different forms of small government and family systems and stuff. And in order to get them to do what you need to do to escape, you have to do like bad things to them. It would try and like guilt trip you, I suppose, like a post-colonial interpretation of like, I know what I'm doing is bad because they look quite upset, but also I really want a massive trampoline, so I'm afraid I'm going to assassinate your dad. And you'd have to like see all the consequences of your actions, maybe. So you'd have to like, maybe the only thing you can do is assassinate people, and you have to try and work out how that would affect the culture or something like that.
Is this what you wanted, Cookie, when you said you wanted violence?
I like games where you see the consequences of it. You're forced to do things against the grain, and you see the consequences of your action. I like that.
Yeah, I like it when you're not forced, when the game gives you sort of at least the appearance of choice, so that you can say you don't have to do it, but if you want to get any further in the game, you have to do it.
And I suppose it wouldn't be a moralizing thing. It would just be a, don't know what the word is.
You could do all sorts of like interesting microcosm of international politics here. Like if you intervene too much, like in Afghanistan, and then suddenly leave, that would change the whole dynamic of the civilization. So you need to intervene, but not too much, to get what you want.
thinking about the players, I think it's going to be interesting because you'll have a lot of people who are there for the casual exercise element, and then have got to sit down
And suddenly they're withdrawing from
deep
Afghanistan after
academic-
20 years. I'm like, I just wanted to go for a jog.
Maybe that's what Biden just wanted to get like a bit of exercise. And...
So I think that'd be interesting. Because you'd
I'm
have
wondering
to.
if there's a more casual form of violence, for want of a better word, that could be a little bit more.
Or it
kind
could be
of
that you
pick
just
up and
harvest
drop.
the robots to fuel your robot. I guess you need parts, so you seed the islands that makes robots. They upgrade themselves by evolving and stuff until they have family structures, and then they evolve into the parts that you need to upgrade your robots. So then you have to go and
Be interesting.
be violent.
You could take certain bits out of the society, take certain robots out of the society to fuel yourself, but then the society would be reshaped based on what you. That's getting very complicated.
Yeah. But I think
That's
it'd
like
be good, though.
nation building.
Yeah, it'd be good though if you could make like a simple version of it. I don't know how you would. I think the key would be how you communicate that
If you
through
take the
the
American
game.
military out, then
Or
what?
To put it very simply, I suppose you could have like maybe 10 different shapes of robot. Let's say squares, triangles, cogs, whatever. And maybe to help you achieve your goal, you need certain types of them. And maybe, there's consequences of you taking certain ones away.
Yeah, so it would give you
I
like a
think it'd be
projection of
huge
what
guilt
happens.
trip, though.
But I think you have to like, they'd have to have personality as well, so they'd look really cute, and you'd have some sort of like where you land and all the baby robots like come up to your giant robot and start like being cute, and then you've got to shoot them with lasers. Yeah, harvest them.
Wow.
And you can't just fly off because there's a little bit of the screen that shows you the consequences of your actions. So like, there's a constant like news broadcast screen that with like interviews with like mother robots crying and stuff.
It's got quite complicated, this game.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, we're trying to just do like an exercise game where it's like harvesting baby robots.
I feel like what might work more for me is maybe almost a series of mini games, WarioWare style, where you're maybe working with the robots, and maybe the violence is against some kind of other party. So it's you and the robots against nature or an evil monster.
Sounds like Pikmin.
Okay, yeah, I've not played Pikmin.
It does sound- yeah.
Just put me in mind of Pikmin.
Yeah.
It's you and the.
Yeah.
I mean, I prefer my idea of harvesting the baby robots and then watching the mothers cry. But if you be you, yeah.
I do love the idea of these casual like joggers coming, checking out this game.
It'll be a hard sell, I think, to Nintendo, but
it would be. I mean, it would be amusing for us. I don't deny. It's just whether our gamers would really enjoy that.
I guess.
So I guess.
Sorry, go on.
Some designs work in progress here, but do we have a name that we might be leaning towards?
I suppose it depends which way we're going.
Yeah,
whether we're going with the slaughtering the innocents or just having a nice WarioWare time.
I guess it's essentially a farming game, isn't it? It's basically a farming game, but
but with an exercise,
with an
component,
an existential exercise component. Yeah, so you're basically just farming, but you're farming sentient beings instead of just pixel creatures. It'd be like it if in Stardew Valley, every time you sort of sold a chicken, you had to then watch it be executed.
And you also had to run. You had to physically run to get.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Maybe something to do with physicalness and farming, like Fit Farmer.
Sounds like a dating app.
Boyfriend farmer. Farming dungeon.
Or like one of those late 90s call lines, a chat line. Lots of farmers in your area.
It could be linked to the exercise
angle.
It could be linked to a rowing machine, and it's called Robot. And instead of a giant robot, you're in like a rowing thing.
You have to buy a rowing.
Yeah, the rowing
machine.
Yeah. That's how you get across the ocean.
I like robot. It's very good. Yeah.
That's how you get across the ocean, at least.
Or run bot.
Run bot. Yeah.
Sounds a bit shit.
Killbot.
Guiltbot.
the I'm trying to think of a pun of Slaughter of the Innocents, but the
Harvest is a good word.
Harvest Moon.
the
But,
yeah. Harvest Children.
Cog Harvest.
Oh, Cog Harvest. That sounds cool.
yeah, harvest is quite a sinister word, isn't it?
Yeah. Cog Harvest. I'm imagining the cover would be like a silhouette of a guy doing exercise in the middle with a outline of a robot, and then just like blood dripping off down there. With like a slaughtered baby robots all over the floor.
So macabre. I would have a big, happy, smiling farmer in a giant exoskeleton, leaping between sunny tropical islands.
I'm imagining quite a sort of Animal Crossing type vibe, like cartoony.
Yeah. Like Chibi Robo on the GameCube, with a little tiny robot that runs around the house. Less slaughter.
But then, yeah, maybe
okay.
some slaughter.
I think Cog Harvest sounds very dark. I like it.
Okay, so that's our dark universe name. Maybe there's a button that you can press and it flips it all to like a happy kind of.
I developed a website like that once called The Ruse of Metacarpi, and there was going to be 2 versions of every page, and you press a button in the top right corner, and it would go from like the same content but from different like a positive spin and a negative spin. So like you'd have like a news report, and it would be a negative spin, like, oh, everything's shit and nihilistic, and then you click the happy button in the top corner, and it would be like, oh, it's not that bad. And you could, depending on what mood you're in, you could pick. So yeah.
Well, that would be interesting. Yeah, if you could you could have the sort of society building farming sim, and you could have the slaughter one in the same game.
Yeah, but
choose which one.
Yeah, sort of like the Halo anniversary where you can switch between it, and it turns out you're not sure which is the real universe, whether you're actually just farming stuff or something, or whether you're actually killing stuff, and you're never sure which is which. I think isn't there a Black Mirror episode like that where there's the VR soldiers and they're like shooting at aliens, but it's actually people or something like that. Something like that.
Yeah.
Not
Okay,
really
so we've got Cog Harvest, and for want of a better name, with 3 minutes to go, I'm saying Fun Farm Fitness. It needs a robot kind of element, but I couldn't think of a robot thing beginning with F. Fusion.
Factory. No. Factotum? No, that's not.
I don't know.
Factorio.
Fitness Factory.
Fitness Factory. So you'd have a reversible cover. One of the covers would be Fun Farm Fitness Factory with kind of, we're on like a Hawaiian Mario Sunshine style island. And the other one would be Cog Harvest. And then it would be like the bloody dead robots and stuff. The same like design, but with different details, yeah.
And you can press a button at any point in the game to make everything absolutely horrific,
exactly. Yeah.
Or escape to a
with the secret knowledge of what you were really doing.
World.
Yeah, very post-colonial game. This it's quite good. You could write essays on this.
Brilliant. Well, we have it.
I think
welcome.
That hour and a half was worth it just for the Fun Farm Fitness Factory Cog Harvest dichotomy.
Brilliant.
There's a great game in there.
There we go. Yeah. So that's
something for everybody.
Game 1 of the Laser Game Generator. So we'll be back next week. I think, is it your week, Cookie, next week?
It's my week. I don't know what we're doing, but it'll be something equally fun, but we'll probably have less to show for it at the end, which is sad.
I think maybe in future weeks we'll mock up some Fun Farm Fitness Factory Cog Harvest cover art, and I'll stick it in an empty GameCube box or something. Right, so that is the end. It's goodbye from me, and if you would kindly say goodbye, John.
Goodbye, John.
Goodbye.